Rebonjour tout le monde, je suis encore à le kiosque de Tonic, mais maintenant on va le faire, la beauté, les cartes, un bel échantillon avec les shimmer powders de nouveau. Puis demain, j'espère qu'on peut travailler avec les nouveaux aquaflows. Donc, ça c'est 2 autres vidéos que Maria va faire pour nous autres. Puis maintenant, elle ouvre ses bouteilles, elle va toute prête pour nous montrer exactement comment il marche. Puis je sais que vous allez toutes courir vers le magasin puis acheter tous ces produits aussitôt qu'il arrive. Donc, merci. Hi, Michelle again. Love ya. So, here we go. I'm going to turn it over. So, here we go.
Hi guys, it's Maria back here again at the Tonic Studios booth at Creativation 2020. Right now we're going to do a demo on the Nouveau Shimmer Powders, which is probably my favorite Nouveau product. And let's get started. So the first thing that I want you to know is that some of these shimmer powders are true to color and some of them are not. And what I mean by that these are highly pigmented crystal powders, and when you tap them out, some of them, so this solar flare is true to color, and watch what I mean by that. So when you spritz it, it's just yellow. So it's true to the color that you see in the bottle. Some of the colors are not true to the color. For example, meteorite shower, which is another one of my favorites. When you tap that out of the bottle, and by the way, hot tip, of the bottle to get these out, never squeeze these because you're going to have a huge blast and it's going to be a big mess. And you can't get these back into the bottle. So watch when I spray this. You guys got a good camera view? So do you see there's blue, there's purple, there's pink, there's a wide variety of colors in this. So this is not true to color. So the colors that are true are that solar flare, the blue blitz, I'll show you that, and the storm cloud, which is like a black. These are the ones that are true to color. The solar flare, blue blitz, and the storm cloud. Now, there are different ways to work with these shimmer powders. The first way that I just showed you was to sprinkle the powder first onto the paper and then to spritz with water. If you first lightly spritz your paper and then add powder, you're going to get a different look. This is Atlantis Burst. I love this color. Sort of a blue-green. So now I'm going to tap onto the paper, and what you're going to notice is that the powder sticks because the paper is already wet. The powder sticks, and I didn't get the paper really wet, so it just sits where it is, and you have a little bit more of a crystalline look. This is a really good technique to do on photocopy paper, white glossy paper, or for example, Tonic Studios Black Mirror Glossy Cardstock. That's phenomenal if you want to get like a galaxy background look. So if you want to, you can, I'm going to leave that one like that because I want you to be able to see the difference in the two techniques. If you're interested in getting more of a smooth, uniform look, you just tap some of the powder out onto a surface. I'm using a glass media mat right now, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to just spritz next to it. And then I'm going to use one of these Nouveau Aquaflow brushes. The barrel of this brush is filled with water, and to get water out, all I have to do is squeeze. So I'm just going to use that drop of water that I put down, and I'm going to mix up that shimmer powder. What this does is it mixes that variety of color of crystals into one uniform color. So instead of having these different colors that you're seeing here, now it's just this gorgeous teal color, and you can watercolor with this. So I'm just going to keep the camera where it is, but I'm going to grab this card because I'll show you the different effects that you can get, because you don't just have to tap these onto a paper and spritz them. You can really use them to do artwork. So we'll talk about that card again in just a second. Do you want me to go through all of the different colors and show how they break down?
Sure, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah, let's do that. So
guys, show some love.
So that was the Atlantis Burst, and that again is one of my favorite colors, but you can just see how totally differently you can choose to use these. And I could have spritzed water first, and this would have just been this gorgeous, teal and blue mess of just beauty. So the next color that I want to show you is Catherine Wheel. This color is a mixture of color crystals, and it's kind of got a red, like a rusty red base. Not at all a royal red. I'll flip my paper around. Also, when working with these, just don't be afraid to clean up your mat. Not a big deal to just wipe it up. I know some people are like, no, I need to let it dry, and that's cool too. But when you're doing this, you need to sometimes pick things up. So that's a Catherine Wheel. And it's like a really rusty red. I'm going to add a little bit more. So you can also add more if you decide that you didn't get enough pigment down the first time. And just watch as it spreads. And add the color until you're happy. Just to show you something that you can do. Oh, that was an accident. Yeah, you do have to be careful with these. I'm going to add a little extra color with right there. And I want to show you, first of all, how easy it is to clean these out, because I was just doing that with the Atlantis Burst, right? You just squeeze water out, and now we're good to go with this next color. So I want to blend some of that red into a solid color and just show you what happens. You don't have to do it separately. You can, when you have this much water on your paper, blend them. And that is part of what I did on this card. So on this card, I've had quite a few people ask me about it today. The way that you do this is you have to have a stamped image that you have heat embossed. Heat embossing creates barriers because the heat embossing is raised. So when you put water on this, the water tends to well within the barriers. So for example, the water will stay within the petal or within that compartment of the leaf. And it's a lot easier to control where the shimmer powders are going if you have boundaries for them. So I heat embossed this in gold, and then I applied the powder, and I was really strategic about how I applied the powder. So on this one I put Cherry Bomb, that's that gorgeous bright pink, and I put just a little bit of Blue Blitz, which I showed you earlier. Over here I think I did Cherry Bomb and Solar Flare, and down at the bottom I believe I did pretty sure it was Meteorite Shower. I'm not 100% sure. But you don't see the crystals because I did take my brush and I did smooth out the crystals a little bit on the flowers. And I bet some of you are wondering if my colors bled into the background. And yes, some of them did. But all I had to do was take my napkin and just absorb the water very carefully like this. So if you have a lot of excess water, all you have to do is take the tip of a napkin or a paper towel and just pick it up. So watch how it's pooling right there. You can just pick it up. It's really easy. You don't have to blot the whole thing. I didn't disturb any of the rest of the coloring, but I just picked up the excess water from the edge of my work.
Beautiful.
All right. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that, but I can answer them if they do, or I can...
Donc, elle a expliqué que si vous voulez colorer avec les poudres, vous pouvez embosser sur une carte, donc étamper, embosser dessus, et ça donne les barrières. Comme ça, la couleur, ça bouge pas, mais ça bouge pas après le ligne. Et des fois, si ça coule un petit peu, tu peux le ramasser avec un essuie-tout comme elle vient de montrer. Donc, toutes sortes de techniques qu'on peut faire avec ça. Il y a quelques-uns des autres couleurs, je pense que je vais vous montrer au moment. Mais vraiment, c'est un produit ici préféré à Maria et beaucoup de monde dans le kiosque de Tonic Nouveau. So I'm not going to translate everything I just said because Maria was great enough to explain all that. So let's just watch what the last few colors are.
Yep.
And we'll move on from there.
Okay, so I'm moving on to Cherry Bomb now, and this is the color that I had used on that bright pink flower. So I'm just going to tap out a couple sprinkles. And that's Cherry Bomb. This is one that I really like to watercolor with. It's just such a color. So you can see how that just saturates it if you just add a little bit more. Don't be afraid to play around with them. And also don't be afraid to play around with putting stuff next to each other and letting it bleed together. So this is a new color that's coming out. It's called Sunray Crosette.
Wow.
And I'm just going to put it next to that pink, and you can see how it's going to bleed together and make something new. And you can just let it flow.
Donc, regarde comment on joint des couleurs un dans l'autre. Et ça nous donne des autres idées comment travailler avec ces poudres-là. Donc, on va continuer à montrer les autres couleurs qui s'en viennent. Je reviens à ça. Je vais juste vous montrer quelque chose que je vais mettre des photos, des images tantôt. Mais ça, c'est un nouveau pâte, un nouveau mousse d'eux autres qui s'appelle Crackle Mousse. Donc, ça s'en vient. This is another new one, I believe, coming out called Jade Fountain.
Okay, so I'm going to tap a little bit of that down. And this is a color I actually haven't played with very much, but to me it looks like a circus. It's like a circus in a bottle. It's, red, green, blue, yellow. It's just got a little bit of everything in that one. Yeah, I think it's like mixing on its own almost. And so what's interesting about these powders is that when you look at how they break down, what color crystals they break down into, it's not always colors that you would think to put together. Like, so if you work according to the color wheel, you wouldn't put red and green together, but there's red and green in this, and it's kind of magical. So these kind of defy the laws of color wheels. This is Falling Leaves, and this is actually my favorite green color because I just love how bright and vibrant it is. It has a little bit of blue in it, and when I mix this on off on the side, it's just my favorite. It's called Falling Leaves. I love it for doing leaves. Okay. It's just such a beautiful, vibrant color. So I love that one. Green Parade is more of a rich, rustic green. You can see it has some darker colors that when it's mixed up, it really can get rich. It's like a pine color if you paint it all by itself. The next color I'm going to show you is Lunar Rocket, and this one kind of throws me for a loop because it's, we think of this as being the silver shimmer powder, but if you look at the colors that make it up, it's like pink and orange and like all kinds of weird stuff that you would never put together. But I'm going to put some off to the side so that I can show you how rich and beautiful of a silver it really does make when it's mixed together.
So deux façons de travailler avec ces poudres.
So can you see like the weird colors in that silver? Like it doesn't scream silver to me. It's pretty fun, but I wouldn't ever think that would make silver. But then when I mix it over here off to the side, I can really see.
Wow.
Like look at that. It's platinum. Yeah, it's beautiful silver. It's so rich. Yeah. But again, where did it go? Where did it go?
I think it's the covered one.
Yeah. Why did I put a lid back on? Just.
Donc encore, ça c'est la couleur qui fait l'argent. Puis comme ça, on voit qu'il y a toutes sortes de couleurs de cristal dedans. Mais si on les mélange toutes ensemble pour juste faire une création avec, ça va tout en argent.
All right, and the last color is gold. And again, this is another, look at that.
Got to grab that with something right away. On veut pas perdre cette beauté sur le
This is
tapis.
not part of the planned live.
Mais elle peut pas le laisser là. Happy accident. Vraiment. Oh, nice.
So it's kind of cool. So we'll just pull that off to the side. Mop this up.
Regarde, on sait toujours quand c'est une designer parce qu'elle va jamais essuyer toute cette encre-là. Elle va toujours trouver
Okay, so the last one is Golden Sparkler.
Golden Sparkler.
Okay.
On va voir la variété dedans.
Watercolor paper. Yeah. So with these shimmer powders, you do always want to use a watercolor paper because of the amount of water that it takes to activate them. And actually, I'm going to put some of this here too because this is so weird. It's going to be reds and greens in this one, and you just would never think that that's what you were going to see. And I always think it's so weird when it breaks down. There's red, there's green, there's like a weird dark, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So when I mix it over here off to the side,
it's a beautiful gold.
It's a
very ancient gold.
It is. It is. I don't have much clean paper left to paint on, you know.
Donc ça, c'est fantastique.
Yeah, yeah.
Donc c'est toutes ces poudres-là qu'elle a utilisées pour faire ses
So,
cartes.
I have a tip before you go.
Puis elle a une autre chose à nous dire avant de partir.
So I don't have rubbing alcohol here, so I'm going to try and get some before tomorrow, but there's a hot tip that I have. If you fill your water brush pen with rubbing alcohol instead of with water, then you mix your shimmer powders off on the side with the rubbing alcohol, you can paint on black cardstock. Not watercolor cardstock, not like ground, any black cardstock, and it won't pill and it won't warp. And the reason why is because the alcohol evaporates so quickly that you're able to leave a nice swatch of color, and it doesn't damage the paper at all. So that's my hot tip for today. Hopefully I can actually show it tomorrow. It'd be really cool. Yeah,
à Maria pour toute cette vidéo. Puis je vais expliquer la dernière chose qu'elle a dit. Si dans le pinceau pour les aquarelles ou pour l'eau, tu mets de l'alcool, vous pouvez peinturer sur les cartons noirs juste en mélangeant sur ton tapis de verre. Tu mélanges la couleur, tu ramasses la couleur et tu peux tout de suite peinturer sur le
yeah, thank you.
Le carton
See you tomorrow.
noir.
Is there anything else you want to see? Or?
Merci, puis j'espère qu'on va faire une autre vidéo
got
tantôt.
it. Just come find me. I'll be here. Thank you.
Maria. Et je vous aime. So thanks everybody. We'll see you. We say thank you again to Maria, and we'll see her again tomorrow. Thanks guys. See you later.